Alright, so we're back once again, and today we're going to be focusing on, well, patience. And I think this is kind of a good game to focus on patience because of two main reasons. One, I do a lot of damage and I wanted to put this up on YouTube anyways, and two, we're in basically a mirror matchup, as I like to call it. I'm playing the Holland here, contesting B, and basically on the other side of the map, although you can't see it right now, there's a Holland contesting B from the other side. So in effect, this is going to be pretty much the perfect comparison in what to do and maybe what not to do when you're trying to actually play a destroyer in this version of World of Warships, whatever you'd like to call it. Now initially, of course, you get spotted. Again, not a great deal you can do here. The thing I would recommend though is realizing that you are spotted, so basically contesting the cap is a bit of a no-go zone, especially in the Holland here, because you don't have smoke, and when you don't have smoke, it makes you extremely liable to be spotted by fighter planes. And well, if you're spotted by fighter planes, suddenly 15 ships on the enemy team are going to be very quickly shooting at you, especially when you don't have all that much coverage in B cap. So it's better here to play it safe, disengage for a little bit, take it easy. Again, you're playing a torpedo boat, you don't actually have to push that aggressively early in the game. Again, the greatest thing you can do when you're playing a destroyer, especially in the first, let's say 5 to 6 to 7 minutes in the game, is just simply do not die. And an extension of that would be don't lose 80% of your HP in the first 6 or 7 minutes of the game, because then you're basically useless. Again, maybe that applies more to actual gunboats where you run the risk of being spotted, but again, it just limits your overall options in the game, and you want to keep them as open as possible, as late into the game as possible. So if you look at the minimap, you'll see that the Holland is contesting B, even though obviously you can't see that it's a Holland, but it is in Holland and Holland. And at this point, I feel safe enough to actually, creep my way in, but always leave that option to disengage if necessary. Again, we're not interested in over pushing, we're not interested in, contesting this cap at all costs. We're just kind of getting a feel for what's happening on the map, seeing where they're deciding to push, seeing where, maybe we can push a little bit ourselves. And again, we've got both A and C caps. There's no rush, there's no real urgency, it's still early in the game, and well, up pops a Holland in a little bit of a compromised position, because A, he's angled straight at me, which means that he's going to be taking several shots and not able to reply in kind with full gunpowder. Another thing is the fact that he's going to at least travel another 1 or 2 kilometers before he actually gets in a position to actually create distance between himself and myself. That's why I always advocate, when you're contesting a cap in a destroyer, you always want to immediately turn out when you're in the cap and, be ready to leave the cap as quickly as possible. That's just a very simple tip on destroyer play that I think every destroyer player should have. Again, not a clue what this Le Fantastic's doing, but yeah, he almost kills all the marble, so good for him. Well, he does kill him, and we'll just put that down to random World of Warships stuff. Swiftly moving on. Again, at this point, the Holland is a non-factor right now. And although we don't know where the other 2 destroyers are on the map yet, we can pretty much safely assume that that Holland was the only destroyer capping B, just based on how long it took him to cap, and when he got detected, it wasn't really all that much of a threat. Usually when you detect one destroyer and you focus that destroyer, another enemy destroyer sees it as an opportunity to both open up on you at the same time and not take any damage. So when that didn't happen, that kind of reassured me in my mind that yeah, there wasn't all that much more than one destroyer on B. Again, the Holland here is just trying his luck, but as luck would have it, I have the HP advantage and the backup of Hindenburg and a Seattle. Again, it's always safe here to angle out just in case you get slapped by, any one of the BBs on the enemy team. But again, I'm more than happy to take this trade. with the amount of backup that I have. And of course, keep capping at the same time. Again, we're not rushing anything here. If this Holland gets away, fine. He's on what, 1000 HP? What effect realistically is he going to have in the game? As we throw some speculative torps to the curve first and kind of hit him. Again, what effect is he going to have in the game? Right now, minimal. If he gets so much as detected by me, he's dead. 100% dead. There's no other way. If he gets detected even by like the dolphins under the water, he's probably going to die. So in this respect, patience has paid off massively, and it's got us both basically a ship kill in effect, but also it's got us control over B cap and basically A and C too. So again, always think of not rushing in, be calm, take it easy. At least when you're playing destroyers. If you're playing a BB, try not to sit 25 kilometers away and snipe. That's probably not the best idea, but you get what I mean. Situational awareness is probably the most key thing in the game, so again, be cognizant of it. And now this allows me to open up and just be a bit more proactive on the map. Again, if you look, you can see that the middle of the map isn't all that clustered. Both the enemy team and my team tends to be focusing on the flanks, and that's almost a perfect situation for a torpedo boat, at least the way I like to play them. It allows me to get extra close on both flanks. Kinda not too dissimilar to when you play the Yamato and you want to have that central positioning so you can actually, you know, just fling your guns around and fire at each flank and get crossfires very easily. Not all that dissimilar with Holland and being able to fire on both flanks. At this point though, I see the Frederick Rosa pretty much given up on the game. He's going to go down either way. Even if he detects me, there's not all that much threat that I can actually take. Again, I've got several islands in front of me, and no real threat on either flank. And so as a result, he goes down, and again, we're just patiently holding the cap. We don't have anything to rush about at all. And they have to come to us, because the pressure is on them, based on the cap advantage we have, the ship advantage we have, and also the point advantage we have. Now at this point I'm going to disregard everything I just said, and I'm going to push like a clown. Don't do this. This is very, let's say, the risk-reward ratio on this is pretty poor, to say the least. Again, I don't really gain anything from pushing here. Maybe other than, you know, ending the game a bit sooner, but I can lose a hell of a lot. I can lose my life from Conquer HE. I can get spotted by the Holland and trade 1 for 1 when basically I should be killing them for free. And well, it's just a not overall great decision if your goal is to win the game. If your goal is just to fuck around and try and get, you know, as high damage as possible, then sure, that's something you should be doing like this and pushing aggressively. But if you're not, and if you're concerned about winning games and increasing your win rate, then, you know, maybe play a bit more passive. Now as luck would have it, we get radared. And someone tells me to get back. Now, let's pause here for a little second. I'm radared right here. The Conqueror has a straight line of sight on me. On my left hand flank is the Puerto Rico. Now if I was less experienced, I would see the radar sign and I would panic and I would have to disengage, turning 180 degrees and trying to create as much distance from myself and the Puerto Rico to evade radar detection. But because of this fact that the Puerto Rico is basically 9 kilometers away, me creating distance here just opens up the avenues for both, again, Puerto Rico, North Carolina, and the Conqueror himself to actually get shots on me. But instead, if I, again, create that physical barrier between myself and the Puerto Rico, and again, the Conqueror and the North Carolina, example A, then the actual risk of them hitting me is, again, minimal, and their radar is completely useless. Now at this point I think that, yep, there's the torpedoes. Always good to see, but again, it doesn't make all that much difference thanks to the Conqueror's heel and the fact that he's just so far away from any other ship on the map that he's not going to be all that worried about taking at least 3/4 of his HP. Now usually I would be very concerned about actually, you know, trying to engage with a Marceau, but considering the fact that the Benson's double teaming with me and I have such a HP advantage at this point, again, not all concerned. And again, we're using islands here. We're playing it safe, we're playing it calm, we're playing collected. We're not really overextending too much. We did overextend, we did get a little bit over aggressive, I think, earlier on, but again, we kind of railed it back in a little bit, and again, we're back to playing a little bit more passive. Now, again, the game's basically over at this point. We fire some torpedoes, and yeah. So I hope this taught a little bit about the importance of being patient, at least when you're playing destroyers, and specifically when you're playing torpedo boat destroyers. Gunboats can be a little bit of a mixed bag. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one.